You just reached for your phone. You didn't decide to. Your hand moved before the thought arrived, and by the time you noticed, the screen was already glowing in your palm. You do this hundreds of times a day. You call it a bad habit, a lack of discipline, a modern sickness that willpower could cure. But the real answer is far stranger. The reason you can't put your phone down has almost nothing to do with the phone. The pull you feel is roughly 2 million years old. It was carved into your nervous system long before anyone imagined glass and electricity. Your phone didn't create this hunger, it just found it. Picture an ancestor on an open plain. No walls, no maps. Everything they needed was scattered out there, hidden and moving. In that world, the most important resource was not muscle, it was information. The ones who survived could not stop scanning. A flicker at the edge of vision, a snapped twig. Every new signal might mean food, or danger, or a mate. So your mind was built with a bias. Anything new demands attention, right now. Two researchers, Peter Piroli and Stuart Card, studied how people move through information online. And they noticed something odd. The way a person hunts through tabs and feeds looks almost identical to the way an animal hunts for food. They called it information foraging. Each app is a patch. Each patch holds some invisible reward. And your ancient machinery keeps asking one question. Is there something better in the next patch? You are not being lazy. You are foraging, exactly like your ancestors. Except the berries are now made of pixels. But foraging alone doesn't explain the grip. For that, you have to meet a chemical. You've heard dopamine called the pleasure chemical. That is almost entirely wrong. The neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz recorded single brain cells and found that dopamine is not about pleasure. It is about prediction. When something good happens that you didn't expect, dopamine surges. But once your brain learns to predict that reward, the surge moves. It fires at the signal that a reward is coming. Dopamine is not the reward, it is the promise of one. Do you feel where this is going? Your phone is a machine for making promises. Every notification says something good might be waiting. Not that it is, that it might be. And might is the most powerful word your brain knows. The scientist Robert Sapolsky described an experiment that makes this physical. When a reward is guaranteed, dopamine rises. But make that reward arrive only half the time. Unpredictable, a coin flip, and the dopamine nearly doubles. Uncertainty is the accelerant. Your whole nervous system tightens around the word maybe. Now look at your lock screen. You don't know if there's a message. That not knowing is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. Back in the 20th century, the psychologist B.F. Skinner put animals in boxes with a lever. When the lever paid out every time, they pressed it calmly. But when it paid out at random, sometimes yes, sometimes no, they pressed it again and again, long after they should have stopped. He called it a variable ratio schedule. It is the most powerful way known to keep a behavior going. It is why slot machines work. It is why you pull to refresh. Sometimes nothing, sometimes gold. So you check one more time. Your thumb is a lever, and you were built to keep pulling. Here is the part that should unsettle you. None of this was an accident. The phone was designed by people who understood these systems perfectly. The red dot, the endless feed, the reward that arrives just often enough. These are Skinner's box and Schultz's dopamine, translated into glass. Your ancestors' survival instincts were turned into a product, and it works on you because it was reverse engineered from you. But before you call yourself a victim, consider the strangest part. The same instinct that traps you built everything you admire about your species. The urge to scan, to seek the next patch, is the same urge that drove humans across oceans they could not see across. It is why someone once wondered what was over the mountain and walked. Curiosity and compulsion are the same ancient fire, pointed in different directions. You cannot delete 2 million years of instinct, but you can do something your ancestors never could. You can notice the machinery. You can feel your hands start to move and, for the first time, ask why. The seeking is not a defect. It is the most human thing about you. The only question is what you point it at. You just reached for your phone. And now you know you never really decided to. Something older than you did.